Number 5 for the week. Yeah, we're going straight into chapter 28, verse 15. My brain, I swear. Terrible. All right. Now, this is, it says again in verse 13 of this section 28, things got to be done by common consent. I remember we covered that last week in chapter 26 about common consent. So if you want to go watch that one, go read that. Go look at that. And this is him talking about Oliver going amongst the Lamanites. Now, a lot of people years ago of my mother's generation believed that Lamanites descended, or American Indians, North American Indians descended from Lamanites. It's not proven at all, and is most likely to not be. It's more likely that some of the South American peoples are descended from Lamanites. They might be like distant cousins, but not the actual descendants, but still in there. But this is him going to talk to the Lamanites, and while they might be a little, it's not proven. So yeah, don't take that too literally. But yeah, he is going to go talk to the Lamanites, and in this case they are meaning the Native Americans. And you got to think too, with this time, this is scary because this is still when they're, taking land off them and having wars with them, and there's still cowboys out there getting shot and all sorts of stuff going on. This is, wild, wild west times. And Oliver's sent out there, white guy, go talk to the Indians. A little scary. He actually did a really good job and talked to them very well. Probably, I'm thinking, and I don't know this about him, would have had to learn their language. Maybe. Should find that out. That would be interesting to know. But anyway, it says in verse 15, oh my garbage there, it shall be given thee from the time thou shalt go until the time thou shalt return what thou shalt do. So this is about receiving revelation. And how do you know what to do? How do you know what's next? How do you know what you know? I know, right? It's time to time. It's little bit by little bit. It's a little bit every day. And I'm in the process of getting revelation like this right now and knowing what to do. I've got a journey that I'm on for several things that I've had to get a book with dividers in because, oh my gosh, there was too many balls in the air. My head was caving in with pressure. So every day, sometimes not every day on each one, but every day for something in there, there's a little bit more of a solution, a little bit more of a fix, a little bit further down the trail of that one. And that's it. It's just as you go, you will know. Seeking personal revelation. Sometimes you know way ahead what's going to happen. And sometimes you know just before. And then sometimes you know as you're doing it. Just what it is. If you live in such a manner to receive revelation, i.e. Christ-like living and asking for it, then you will know. Just like Oliver was promised here. If you're living the way that I need you to be living, then you will know. If you're still unsure, go back and look at Doctrine and Covenants 11, 12 to 13. And I did a video on that too. So that'll be there and it'll be labelled that Doctrine and Covenants 11, 12 to 13. If you're not sure what the Spirit is and how to recognize the Spirit. But it's anything that leads you to do good, to do justly, to walk humbly, to judge righteously. Anything that enlightens your mind, fills your soul with joy. If you're prompted or inspired to do something good, it's probably the Holy Ghost. So think about that. Not always the Holy Ghost. Sometimes you're just being nice. But if you're really prompted to do something good, it probably is the Holy Ghost. If you're not sure, practice it and read those scriptures. But if you want to know more on the whole Lamanite situation as to related to the Native American Indians, there's a whole lot on our church website, and there's more in the Come Follow Me manual on that. But yeah, there's no proof, but then there's no proof to say there aren't as well. So yeah, it's just take it as a given and don't get too thinged up. This is the whole, don't get hung up. We talked about last week. Don't get hung up on things that you can't control and that you can't see. It doesn't matter. The point is, he was going to preach to the Native Americans The Lord calls them Lamanites. That's it. Okay. Yes, let's focus on what do you know what to do as it happens. So President Nelson, he said recently, and he said it before COVID hit, and very, I think, inspired to say exactly this. His whole talk, I think, might be early 2018 or 2019, it's somewhere in there, about increasing spiritual capacity. But he said, I plead with you to increase your spiritual capacity to receive revelation. Choose to do the spiritual work required to enjoy the gift of the Holy Ghost and hear the voice of the Spirit more frequently and more clearly. Now, if you want to know the other quotes from there, there's some really, really good ones. And you just need to literally Google President Nelson. Well, actually, I just Googled to find this one. Personal revelation, Nelson quotes. And there's a whole bunch of them from that one talk. And that will probably lead you to that talk as well. But yeah, to, have that, choose to do the spiritual work required, because that's not easy. It is a work. Choose to do that work, to get the gift of the Holy Ghost and hear the voice of the Spirit more frequently and more clearly. Because the more you recognize it and the more you bring it into your life, the more you act on those promptings, the clearer it gets to hear, and the more easy it is for you to recognize it. The easier it is for you to recognize it. So when something comes up and you're like, oh, was that the Holy Ghost prompting me? You won't have to question it anymore. You'll just know. I just know now. Like, I'm not trying to skite or show off, but I've been practicing it for a very long time. I still doubt some things. I'm like, was that? But most of the time, yeah, I know. Yeah. So work on that, because it really helps. It really does. All right. Well, that's us. Next week, it's only section 29. And section 29 is long, but not the end of the world, really. It's like 50 verses long, so it's not really, and they're not big verses. But this is really cool. This is about the second coming and just more information on church. There's some really, really deep scriptures in there we can get into. Some really good stuff that we can, cling on to and learn from. Yay. So we'll do that next week. But have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Mwah. Stay safe out there, all of you. Stay safe.